Yeah, so good morning, and this is supposed to be a short tutorial. Most of the times, when somebody's starting out in programming, the first thing they fight with is the mental model, right? So I have two screens here, and this is kind of a vertical setup. I don't know how OBS works with vertical setups and all this, right? Uh, but let's see. So we're going to try and like give that camera mental model uh a little bit more, I don't know, more informations, or maybe just make it easier for new people to like think in programming terms. That's the whole point of this. I haven't like done a pre-set up everything, so this is a bit rough, and I'm just trying to make it as short as possible, right? So this is my learn folder where I do this tutorial from, and I'm going to make a JS folder. So because this is going to be JS, we need a simpler language, right? Probably web HTML. So, um, see, I have an empty folder, and I'll create two files: an index.html, right? Index.html, and our JavaScript, which will be our programming language. There, right? Now let's open this in my editor. So, like, you know, you hear this most of the time. A program runs from top to bottom, and all that clap and all that stuff, right? And be like, yeah, but when you try to do it, okay, as far as I remember, right, I was doing this. So it's really hard to get to even think of a program because, uh, you're new to it, and it's like the one thing that helped me, right? I'm going to write this just because I can, but I could just have set up everything, right? One thing that helped me was trying to create animations. We're going to create a quick demo. So turned off most of the intelligence for HTML. Yeah, for the demo purposes. Yeah. Uh, One thing that helped me was the animation. So I used to do solo learn back in the days, and I saw somebody creating these beautiful animations with what is this? With Canvas, and I tried. So I started reading these books and all that stuff. It was kind of a lot of work for me back in the day, right? But the animations I saw were beautiful enough to encourage me to like go on and so forth. And in a way, I kind of got the hang like, oh wait, so this is how you think when you're programming while focusing. I'm just trying to bring out the magic, the very same magic, right? So we're just going to say a simple animation here, right? Now, for the canvas, for the canvas to work, right, we need a canvas. So a canvas, there we go. Canvas, yeah. Okay, great. Now we need an ID, right? Let's just give it an ID. Oh my God. uh, the ID, and we're going to call it CVS, short for canvas. And let's link our script. Our in what was it? Yeah, it was our app.js, right? Script, and let's source out everything, right? So for those that are beginning HTML, they can kind of follow along because I've removed all the product or all that past intelligence thingy. Though I could have added a meta tag here to just scale it to one. Yeah, sorry about the nose running and all that stuff, but yeah. So I have linked this. Now, before we do anything, I would love to have this in my browser right now, live server. the part is that I have two monitors and I would want the thing to be on the other side, but I don't know much of screen recording, to know how to do this. But let's just put the browser on the desktop. Now this is Chrome and this is the first time I'm opening up after starting the laptop. It's gonna take a bit longer on my machine. It's in a container, right pack and all that stuff. Yeah. Did I double click? Oh yeah, I did. Chrome is opening up. Yeah. So let's open the app.js over there. All right. Okay, good. Chrome is opened up, and uh, yeah, I opened multiple instances. That's what. But let's have it over here. Let me see on the OBS part. Is it showing? Oh my god. Uh, it looks as if it has gone down. So I have to like put it up. I don't know the video format or whatsoever. Oh my god. Anyway, it's a big monitor and all that stuff. Yeah. So let's glub. Oh wait. I'm learning it at localhost 8080, right? And there's nothing. There's nothing there. Right? But the canvas is there. Now let's just make the canvas bigger. Right. So we're going to say style, right? Where do I do this? Style. Yeah. Okay. And let me just use this. Okay. Style. And we're going to grab the body first of all. The body. And what we want for the body is to have a background of black, right? So BG. Oh my. BG. Of black ash 000, right? And then we want the canvas CVS to have the background of white. So ash FF, and let's see how that looks like. Right. So I have this extension called Dark Reader. So where's the extension spanner? Dark Reader. Can I turn it off? Remove this from com. This site can need when you click the extension. Reload. Okay. Yeah. So the extension is off, and you can see the canvas and the body. Right now, let's make the body a little bit bigger. We need the canvas a little bit bigger. We need it to be we need it to be the size of the screen, right? So width, okay, great. And we need the height to be 100 dvh. Yeah, so this, I'm looking at OBS. I think this is a better way to show it. Yeah, so there, right? Now you can see there are edges on the sides that are giving us scroll bars, which we shouldn't get scroll bars, right? We shouldn't get scroll bars and the like. We can just remove the scroll bars by adding a margin 0 for here. Yeah, and we don't have it's full, though. For the scroll bars to completely go, I'll need to also do that to the header and stuff. I'll need to do that to the header and to the head tag and all that stuff, which we're not gonna do because we already have a full canvas. So not okay. Great, that was a lot. Canvas, the ID is this. Now in JavaScript, I'll need to first get a canvas. If I'm going to do anything with it, I better grab it, right? So const CVS for canvas. Let's keep things short. CVS is equal to get document first. Let's call the document, which is HTML, right? Then we query, right? We query the canvas, which we give the ID of CVS, right? Yeah. Now we need to invoke the canvas properties. Now to use canvas properties, we need a context. We need some sort of context. And yeah, let's make the context const ctx, right? That'll be short for context. We could write context in full, but again, let's just keep it short. Document dot query selector. Oh no, not document dot query selector. It's canvas. So CVS. So the canvas object we have there, right? So get context. Get context, right? And what context are we getting? We're going to be using the simple 2D API. Okay, I wrote content, context, I don't know, yeah, there. Right, so we have the context. Now we could check if everything is working by just console login, console.log. Right? This is your debugging trick in JavaScript. Your major debugging trick. And checking in the inspect element, right, on your console here. There we have the 2D rendering context, the canvas rendering context, and we have all these options, the stroke style, which we're going to use by the way, right? And yeah, now that's for that. And we can tell that we're not getting the canvas context, right? Yeah, so this is the part where you'll be like, okay, now how do animation work, right? First, for this mouse to move from here where it is, right, to here, right, it needs to be updated. The position needs to be updated, redrawn, update, redrawn, but also it needs to be cleared. So they're like three things, right? Let's do the first thing. Let's draw something first of all, right? Let's draw a square. We're going to animate the square, right? Now to draw using the context, you're just going to go ctx dot fillet. So if I remember correct, again, I'm doing this raw and fillet. Yeah, and we're supposed to give the coordinates. Let's go with 0, 0, then 50, 50, right? And since we're using fill, as I do remember, I need to call out the fill function. Yeah, and good. Actually, I do remember though this is a long time ago. I'm saying this is big, but we can leave it like that. There's no way to fix because 50 shouldn't be that big, but yeah. We have a square. We have drawn a square on the canvas. Now for the next part, right? We want the canvas, or this square to move from this point to this point on the edge. We're just gonna do this simple animation over here. How do you do that, right? Okay, we said these were the positions, the x comma y, right? The canvas starts from here, 0, 0, up to, so here 0, 0, then goes 1, 2, 3 positive. Also on the y-axis, this is positive, right? So to move this square this side, I'll need to update this x right here. I need to update it. Then I'll need to redraw. Okay, great. So we need to make these as some sort of variable, right? We need to put them in a memory buffer we can update. This is the directly putting them in a function, right? So x comma y. Right. Let's create the initial values. X is equal to 0, right? And was it a comma? Comma y is equal to 0. Okay, Yeah, JavaScript does work. It's not, and it's dry. Okay, great. So we have updated this. There are now variables we can change. Let's try to change that right over here and see if anything will update. X plus equal to 1. Right? Let's just add the initial value. Nothing changes though. X has changed, right? We have added a 1. It's no longer 0. It's not changing, but the question is, how do we update? Just adding or changing the X is going to do this. We need to redraw this, right? We need to redraw this. Okay, great. Let me redraw. Yeah, I updated this a little bit. Can I change the field step? Let me see. CTX. Okay, right. CTX dot fill, and I do field style. Let me see. Field style. Can I put just colors like this? Okay, good. Then let's draw the drawing. After we have updated the x to 1, ctx dot fill. So this fill function is the one that pins to the screen, right? Oh, there's an error. Okay, great. You can see there's a little bit of black there. So it has redrawn to the new position, right? Now we need this to be doing this every second we have. We need it to be redrawing and pushing this to the second. Right? We can't really be writing this for all the parts we want to go. Oh, we could, right? We update to 2, we draw, we update to 2. But just imagine, right? Until I have code here on the portal like that. That's not a good way, right? So we need to reuse this code over here. And the best way to reuse code is through functions, right? So we can put in a function, we can call every time we need to draw, right? Now, let's put this draw step here we're having here, the draw steps in a function, right? So we're going to call this function draw, right? So const draw, right, is equal to, oh my, I clicked F something. Yeah, is equal to draw, right? And we're going to get this, right? And we're going to paste in here, right? So this is going to draw a red square. Since this is the same code here we're trying to do, we could like change. Now nothing is drawing because the function hasn't been called, right? Yeah. Let's try to do the same thing with that, right? We draw here, the same thing we did, right? We draw, we update, and we draw again, right? So we draw two things. Okay, since the first draw is black, we didn't change the red. Let's put a color option so we could achieve the same effect, right? So color, and let's rub color over here, right? And we can just put the color we want. Here we want blue. I'm going to change from black, and here we draw a red, a red. Okay, yeah, so you can see, if you can see, there is a blue part, right? And it updates to 1. So we already use the code. We put it in a modular thing. Okay, good. We're moving, but we still need to do this every single second. So we need to find a better way to update. And you can feel it in the whole sentence. If I need to do this thing in every single second, then I'm going to have to create a loop, right? I'm going to have to create a loop in order for the animation we'll be doing all that stuff, right? Now, let's figure out a way to create a loop. We have a variable, right? and we need their variables to be updating. So we kind of need a place to be updating the things from. So let's just say we're going to have an update function, right? An update function we can call every second. Okay, good. So an update, right? No, we don't need this anymore. Let's just have one color, blue, right? Let's just have one color. An update function. Okay, great. We need a loop, and let's just call it animate, right? Though I could call it loop for the sake of simplicity of sake of what do you call it? I don't know. Clarity, right? We have loop over there. A loop. How do I do this loop and all that stuff, right? Okay, great. Now, how are we going to do this loop? We need to call this loop part every second. Now, in JavaScript, right, there is a way to call a loop every single second is by using this function called the request animation, right? So the request animation frame learns the function you give it, right? Every single second. So you kind of create a loop, right? Okay, good. So now let's draw this loop. Let's call this loop and check if it's actually looping, right? Now, how are we gonna check? Because we're not displaying anything. Let's console.log, right? Out loop and check if it's doing the loop in the terminal or not in the terminal, in the console, right? Console. Look, it's calling this every single second until my RAM runs out, which will be bad. But yeah, you can check here, it's calling, and finally we have a loop for every single second. Great, right? Let's draw and see if it's gonna draw every single second, right? Okay. Okay, it's drawing, and we tested it earlier, and we know it's drawing every single second, so it's stacking multiple draws on top. Okay, great. But we need to update it, right? Let's try updating if it will move. If we are constantly updating it, we had a place where we can update this thing and other stuff, right? I hope this will help somebody. So we're going to be updating the x here, right? And let's call the update function, right? So which means after it draws, it updates. After it draws, it updates, right? Oh, I didn't save. There, right? We have an animation, but remember it's a square which is 50 by 50, and the behind part, it's not. It doesn't look like a square right now. It's just turning into this huge rectangle. It's because it's not clear, right? It's not clear in the previous thing it drew, and it's like turning into this thing that goes forever and forever, forever. Okay, great. So we know the next part we need to clear. If you have done a little bit of animation, you draw one frame, you clear the rest, you draw again to show that it's moving, and this is the animation loop again, right? The animation thingy. So let's just clear before anything else, right? And there's a convenient method to do this, right? Which is the ctx dot clear rect. Clear rect, which the canvas API given, but the CTX look clearly accepts two arguments, right? The full width and where it starts from, right? Where you draw from, like 0.0, the x-axis, and how far you want the rectangle to be. Now we want a whole screen, so we know it's gonna start from the top left, right? 0.0, and we need the whole canvas width. So we're just gonna say canvas width, right? And the canvas height. So wait, we need, is it canvas height? Yeah, should be canvas height. Let's see. Oh no. Save. Okay, great. Right, we have a moving example, and this is the short tutorial one. I hope for some it helps. Then in the morning and all that, I was like, okay, since I just made this improved, uh, it kind of sounds clear and all that stuff, which I doubt, but I hope it does help somebody. Yeah, so let me stop the recording.